Well, you can kick it off whenever you like here.
All right. 3, 2, 1.
I believe we're going to start with Dynablade, and that's because there's a 4-frame trick at the beginning. He wants to inhale 2 powers at the same time, which starts a roulette. You have 4 frames to stop him whenever you want, and he's looking for Jet. So I'm going to shut off now so we can do it. Nice, perfect. So this is one of the fastest powers in the game. Running and dashing. In most Kirby games, you double tap the forward button to dash rather than walk. And if you dash beforehand, before jumping, then you can jet continuously in the air and not hit the ground. There's a lot more utility with this power that will be seen in a couple of levels, but for this is just straight movement.
Especially this category, it's you don't have to use different powers. There's a straight up jet movement for the most part. Yeah, so you'll be seeing a lot of jet if you like that.
So one thing you did there, if you can charge the jet and release like a fully charged, blast either to the right, to the left, or if you shield after you're fully charged, you can store it and do a double jump. The double jump is huge. It blasts you way up into the air. And for most mini bosses, they have a weak point.
One hit like every mini boss basically.
Yeah, from underneath. So that is another fantastic use of Jet. The last use is going to be skipping mini bosses, and you won't be seeing that until stage 3. Actually, you'll see it at the end of this one.
There's an auto scroll skip that you can do, but it's really marathon unsafe, so he's opting not to do it.
You have to hit a mix that you don't do in any other part of the run, like
specific timing to it.
Right, and mixes, depending on the 2 enemies that you inhale for the mixes, it starts you at a different point in the roulette. Like, the order of the powers is always the same, but where you start is determined by the 2 enemies that you inhale. And the one that you do at the beginning of Dynablade is done a couple of times throughout the route, but the one that you would do to skip the auto-scroller is the one and only time you would use Wheel and Beam to mix. And so the timing is a little off, and obviously it's marathon unsafe. We'll probably show it off at the end, I believe. The Coca Cave is the first gatekeeper after the mix. Let's see how he does. It's generally tough movement, tough platforming. You gotta be pretty precise.
Ladder is all you have to do is like mash, jump, and hold up. You just move it real quick.
There's another mini boss skip here at the end of the stage. So normally 100% there's two switches that you would hit to unlock special power rooms that basically just have deluxe copies of all the different powers. Enemies don't do that. Just straight up platforming. There's not going to be any treasures in Great Cave offensive, and in Milky Way he's going to be getting only what's necessary, which I believe is just Jet, Plasma, maybe one or two others. This category, as far as what games he's going to be playing, he just wants to beat what he needs to unlock Milky Way Wishes, and then beat Milky Way Wishes in marks, which triggers the credits. And that is the definition of the any percent category. So it'll just be Dynablade, Great Cave Offensive, Meta Knight, and Milky Way Wishes. When Dynablade lands, there's 2 stars that are going to be coming out from either side of her talons. You can actually do a little suplex move with the charged jet, and it does a buttload of damage. It's dangerous, right? Hitting with a thruster. Was that the one hit? Almost the one hit KO. He had the setup, but not the timing. That is very, very difficult and precise and completely random, as far as we're concerned.
Still a really fast kill though.
Yeah, that was a great fight.
So now the route, you can either do meta second or second opted for doing the
In and out. That's unfortunate. The bomb enemy blew, or the beam enemy blew up. Okay, nice. So that mix is pretty free. It's not done at any other point in that run, but there's just 2 ticks before it starts. You 2 ticks before Jet, and you basically it's pretty free. The setup for it can be kind of annoying, as you see, or as you saw. He killed the beam enemy by accident, and if he doesn't agree with you, or if you misplay, that can happen. Oh. You never... The other thing about this game is you want to take as few hits as possible, because that can happen. Your power being knocked out is completely random, so you basically just avoid that by not taking any hits from enemies.
You tried to do something bag. I paid for it. It's alright, it's all good now.
I gotta shout out the creator of that little strat there. There's a mini boss there, and Surrender Tessero of 100%. We used to just charge and do the jump, the normal mini boss skip, but realize that if you do a dash jet into the wall right above there, you can actually forego charging. It actually saves like a 2.5. It gives you enough height over the screen border to clear the mini boss.
This night is exactly the same as 100%. There's no strat differences. It's only a game that's the same as 100%.
Yeah. No out of bounds fight, but he's going to keep himself on camera. Oh, there's the out of bounds. Nice.
Devil.
That's a little dangerous.
Yeah.
You can die if you just fall down into the void. I died at -40 pace. You know, and in 100% this is 40 minutes into the run, so I would not recommend people do that.
When it was discovered, like, we all did it, like, in the beginning, because it looked cool, but then we realized that it's risky, and we don't want to lose runs at point getting out of the void. You don't want to lose your run.
It's not worth it, yeah. Because, like, the other thing is, like, you don't have an opportunity to get Jet back without mixing until stage 5, so...
It's pretty much dead if you do anything like that.
Doing meta without Jet is just a slog. And not only is it without Jet, but, like, the powers that you have available to you going forward the next couple of stages just...
It's a lot slower.
They just don't get it done, yeah. Like, for both killing enemies and bosses and movement-wise, like, it's just slow. So... This is definitely, like, regardless of the out of bounds type, like, Meta Knight in both categories is the most dangerous in terms of losing your power, because you can't get it back.
Just opted to. You can do the jet jump on both of the hammer bros there, but he opted to just kill the second one normally. It's more of like an RNG reduction thing, because the second bonkers doesn't always jump. You can like lose time if you try to do the quick kill jump. So like almost nearly as fast if you just kill him normally, like with charge jets.
I think I gotta go for the no jet thing.
Oh, nice. I love this strat. Okay. To get the double monster kill here, which is, in my opinion, one of the coolest looking segments in all around. So what he did was the charge jet jump, and then doing the same principle as the kill he did on Dynam Blade, but with an uncharged jet. And as you'll see there, that's how he would kill Twin Cannon as well. You just grab something.
The yo-yos and like lose your power. I don't know. I just don't like it. Did a risky strat there, where actually you just hover over, but he opted to fit in a few jets over the main boss there. If you're not familiar, that was pretty cool.
No, Mr. Flossie, no.
That way is faster though.
Oh.
Scroller. It's the only auto scroller there is? I don't know. I don't know if this run has any other auto scrollers. Could be just blanking out totally on something. Very fast kill there. That was good. Getting behind him and the charge hits. Here you want to ditch Jet and get Plasma. Get the reason for that in a little bit.
It's one of the worst bosses in the game, honestly. Where the blue cannons come down is basically based on your position, so you have to kind of float up and down, but it won't start to shoot until it's been aimed at one specific point for, you know, a certain amount of frames. So basically you have to find the sweet spot and float up and down, and since floating obviously moves you up and down, like, it's easy to get the cannon to just kind of like follow you if you go above the threshold. So you have to find that sweet spot so that it shoots. And not only that, but it can also get into a point where it just straight up won't hit the reactor. You can coax it into doing like a high-angled shot, but the longer the laser's on screen, the more like there is on time. This boss can be a real pain.
It's a solid spoiler too.
These mini bosses without touching them. Three, 6, and almost. That's fine though. That's still impressive, and a whole lot of time is lost there.
Run through this game, I always thought that part was so cool.
I mean, it's pretty tough. You're mashing your D-pad, you're trying to keep yourself at a specific height, and you don't want to move left or right. One thing about the plasma is that when you shoot a fully charged ball, you also send 2 back sparks back from behind you, diagonally up and down. And so that's what takes care of the guy behind you. And you see that, you use that technique in a couple of places throughout the run. One thing about riding on wheelie, you actually move faster if you jump, if you're constantly jumping while, you know, dashing wheelie. But it totally screws up Meta Knight's pattern. Like, if you do it too much, before you jump over this pit right here, as Stupca is about to do, you will hit Meta Knight and cause you to stop completely. You can also fall in the pit if you're not prepared for it. So it's just overall a bad idea. I do quick ones at the beginning.
Also vulnerable when you're in the air, so you're pretty much invincible if you're not jumping when you're riding wheelie.
Yeah, because he has a hurt box in front of him, like constantly as he's charging forward. But if you're in the air, that goes away. So now you get to see at the beginning of Cave, you get to see some powerless Kirby strats. Normally you'd see this, you know, you'd see more of this in like Spring Breeze, but in any percent, you will only be seeing that until he gets away. And now, one neat strategy you will be seeing with Wing, you see that he's doing the dash to the right. You can do a dash downward. You press down and Y, and there's actually a neat movement tech you can do with that, where when you do that, when you hold down and press Y with Wing, and you're in the air, Wing Kirby will kind of arc before going downwards. He'll gain like a small bit of height before moving downwards. And so what you can do with Wing is get the arc and then press B to wing out of it, to like flap out of it. And basically just hold down and press YB in rapid succession. And gain ridiculous amounts of height really fast, way faster than you could if you were just pressing B or if you were flapping the wing. So that's neat, and I don't know that we're going to see that anymore. But
And then you got the bad pattern for Fatty Wheel, so you got
yeah, Fatty can breach like a number of times before going off screen, or just once, and then create the water ball that has all of the stones and the fish falling down. That's the least desirable pattern, because you don't get to hit him as much.
It's a 50-50. You can't manipulate it or anything. It's just you trigger the boss. Depends on the frame. Can't really do much about it. I was just basically see chat for the whole the rest of cave.
That's unfortunate. Certain enemies, I feel like certain enemies do. I don't even know how to explain it. Like, their hurt boxes are bigger, or they do more damage, but certain enemies can hit you more than once and do more damage. And I feel like they have a higher chance of knocking your power out than other enemies, like, say, a Poppy Bros Jr., you know? And wheelie enemies are one of those. So those are particularly dangerous, and you want to route your movement such that you avoid them at all costs.
I'd like to get a final tally of how many times I got my power taken out at the end of this
I
run.
think you're at 3 right now, right?
Like 5, I
Four.
think.
Oh, right, I forgot about the heavy lobster screen.
You ever thought about getting a wheelie, like, at this point? I don't know. I feel like that screen, the two minecart screens would be like way faster.
Well, the other thing is the Grizzos. Like, if you run it, that's another enemy that can just straight up body you. Like, if you're...
Yeah, that's another. That's like the most famous one.
Yeah. One thing he just abused there in that little card skip area, if you do a charged jet to the right or to the left, when you land, you have, like, maybe 10 or 20 invincibility frames. And so you actually, it doesn't visualize it on screen, but you saw he landed within the Grizzo's hitbox there while he was trying to go through that minecart section without the minecart. And so if you were wondering what the heck happened there, that is how that works. And we actually abused that several times throughout the run. Alright, so we are ending Great Cave as a poor pink puffball with sunglasses. We have 0 gold, and we do not care. Alright, there's another power. Goodness gracious, man. This game is brutal with that. It always seems to happen, like, whenever you are least expecting it, or when it's least convenient for you as a speedrunner. It's actually, like, really obnoxious. And probably, like, the only mechanic about this game that I don't really like.
On to the final game, Milky Way Wishes. I feel like this is the most interesting part of 90% for this game. It's like way different than 100%. Really don't. You only get like what you need to get. Fast as possible.
And the nice thing about the route that we do, I mean, even in any and 100%, you start with Sky High because it has all 3 of the movement-based power-ups in this stage.
Yeah, so
It's got
yeah,
jet wheelie.
wing and yeah.
We're foregoing wheelie, and I believe we're foregoing wing as well, correct?
Yeah.
So, but jet is by far the most important. Now, Stupca is actually, I guess I should talk a little bit about him. He's been running this category for a couple of months, maybe close to a year now, and not really big at 100%. This has really been his bread and butter. And he recently
got
took
120 though.
Yeah, sub 120 is absolutely a respectable 100% time. That's really good.
I'm out of it. I think he just heavily prefers this category.
Yeah, and actually took the record from CZZ Honky, who is, if you know anything about the 100% run, is quite a skilled player, very dedicated, and it means he's very serious. This is one of my favorite runes, this hot bait rune, moving around with Jet, just narrowly avoiding the Gordos, the black spiked enemies. And this is also a cool boss fight, fighting Chameleon Arm. For whatever reason, if you're charging your Jet, his tongue will not hit you. And so you can kind of abuse that to basically stand there and charge your Jet, and then you just bop him. You just sit there and bop him. You don't have to worry about getting inhaled by him. If he does happen to inhale you, it's quite a time loss. But luckily that fight went extremely well. And anyway, so now I'm not sure what he and Honky came to as far as a conclusion with the record, but they both have a 36-24, I believe it is, or 36-25.
Peter thinks Stupca has the record.
Okay.
Still.
Okay. Well, so that's not good. It's not terrible, but it's not good. So what happened there was a super candy on that screen that you are supposed to grab before you go in the door. But he went in the door before grabbing it, and that's not the worst thing in the world. Because in Milky Way Wishes, once you have a power, you will always have that power, and if you lose it, you can just press X and cycle through the powers that you found. And that's kind of the gimmick with Milky Way Wishes, is that once you found the power, you can use it whenever you want, summon it whenever you want, but normal enemies that you find, you will not be able to swallow and absorb their power. It will just not give you anything. So that's kind of the gimmick for this game. He's getting Plasma there for the final boss, and I believe for the Battle Windows fight. I'm not sure if he's going to get Hammer for that or not. Oh, he will have to get Hammer, it's right in the way. But Plasma, again, is just another utility power that's super good at killing bosses.
My personal favorite part of any percent. Usually you do this part with wheelie, and do the jet. You have to do the bounces or whatever to quick kill, which is like really annoying to do. But in this category, you just do the jet jump. It's really fluid and it just looks cool.
So if you used 100%, you would see this stage mostly be done with wheelie and partner boost kills. But since we would completely skip the wheel power, we were going to be abusing the charge jet jump. He did. That makes actually that stage quite a bit easier, or at least more consistent in my opinion. Wheelie can be extremely finicky, And the way you quick kill with Wheelie kind of depends on some randomness. He can spin out after you jump off of his body, and then you just won't get a quick kill. So Jet provides a little more consistency. It's not quite as fast, but that stage is still kind of tricky.
You liked it? I really like the jet route or whatever with it.
Yeah,
Smoother than the wheelie.
it is. And if you didn't do Floria like directly after that stage in the question mark planet, then Jet, I would absolutely do Jet over that. But like you couldn't really do that without like totally rerouting. But anyway. So this is going to be pretty straightforward. You can just be navigating through some water. There he abused the iframes Jet glitch again to get through that fighter enemy, that Knuckle Joe. One of the utilities of Jet that I didn't talk about, but you've probably noticed, is that the thruster also does damage. And so, like in that instance, if he's charging a Jet just to like, you know, gain a bunch of horizontal ground and there's enemies in his way, he'll use the thruster to bop them a little bit to the right and then charge Jet through them. For some reason, if you charge Jet into certain enemies in a certain way, the game will pretend that they're walls. And if you charge Jet into a wall, then you stop completely and shoot out a little spark that does damage. And so that can be annoying. But if they're like mid-hit stun animation, that will usually not occur. So, or basically guarantee it. So that was a very clean Fatty Whale fight. You have to fight Fatty 3 times in this, twice in this, and it's unfortunate that he got bad RNG both times, but he played well and recovered fine. So this is Floria, also known as Doria, because all you do is go through doors. And shouts to Checkers, his favorite planet.
Look that up, I've never heard of Doria.
Yeah, I literally just made it up on the spot. I'm sorry, that was the crappiest joke I've ever said in my life. Anyway, the boss of this planet is going to be Twin Woods. Twin Woods dies pretty quickly to Plasma. Yeah. You'll see him utilizing the back spark here, and he can kill both Twin Woods at the exact same time, because every time he shoots a fully charged one, the back spark does exactly the same amount of damage as the actual ball projectile that he's throwing, so that little mechanic is extremely useful for that boss fight. And others as well. Curious if Stupca is going to skip the warp star on the second screen here.
I'm sure he will.
Nice. So we found out that there is a warp star in the third screen of Half Moon that basically just takes you through a bunch of perilous lightning tiles and some enemies and just like a really weird shaped room. But it's actually like a couple seconds slower than optimal platforming through Jet as Stupca found recently, and that's a really neat strat, so hopefully we'll see him do it here. Nice, okay, here we go. Very nice. For some reason I thought there were enemies there. But yeah, those lightning tiles, if you take a hit from a lightning tile anywhere in this game, it knocks Kirby to the floor, it does a little electrocution animation, which takes another, 50 frames or something ridiculous like that, and it's a very high chance that Kirby's power will be knocked out of his body, so props to Stupca for handling that like a champ. you want to explain, Rafi, how the hammer stuff works? Or what he's doing with hammer here? Since this is probably the only use of hammer in the 90% run that they will see.
Basically, self-explanatory. Just you can throw your hammer and get more damage in. Save a cycle, but I think he got bad RNG.
Yeah, the knight guarded in that instance, and so what he did was just do all of the charge hammers, which is just done by pressing up and Y. The neat thing about that is if you do the strat where you like dash and press A, this is unique to hammer. Hammer throws his power away. He will not create a helper, and when he throws the power away, it does a bunch of damage, which is what he would have wanted to do if the knight had been guarded. But in that instance, he just rolled with it. Now, if that had happened, he would have had to reselect hammer, and you can actually abuse the text scrolling. It freezes the game in Milky Way when you go to the power select by hitting X, but the text will still scroll, which is something you would normally have to wait for, regardless, and so you can kind of abuse that mechanic with the hammer kill. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see that. I still like the use of hammer. Hammer was my favorite power growing up. And it just bodies enemies.
Ag reduction in the shmup section. Good question. Knowledge, really, that we know of. I think killing enemies is any faster or slower.
Yeah, I don't know. I just kill all the enemies because you want to Ooh, okay. Wow, that was very close. You want to maintain as much health as possible for this quick kill here. Normally you have to wait for the reactor to turn back twice, but in this instance, like you basically abuse how the boss works. It starts speeding up after you kill 4 of the nodes, and when you kill the 5th one, it stops. And so you skip a couple after you get it sped up, and then you kill the last one, so that you only have to do 1 turn back, basically. Aw, dang. Unfortunate hit from the cutter there. You can 1 cycle marks before he goes off the top of the screen, but it involves hitting him with 9 fully charged plasmas, I believe. Like 5 in the first cycle before he throws the
Look at that time.
Wow, very nice. 38-0-0-0-0. What a god.
I'm really happy with that.
Pretty good run, dude.
Thanks.
Yeah, very nice run. Thank you, Stupca, for repping the KSS community.